Cops left her daughter fighting for her life. What this mother did next shook the whole system. It's a regular afternoon in Baltimore. Kids are spilling out of Millwood High, laughing, texting, heading home. But in an alley just behind the school, something horrific is unfolding. Belle Carter, only 16, is crumpled on the ground. Blood's pooling on the pavement, staining her sneakers, matting her curls. Her breaths are shallow, barely there, her lips moving like she's trying to say something, but no one can hear it. Her face is swollen, her arm twisted at a sickening angle. 2 cops stand over her, batons still slick, their faces blank as the crowd around them starts to lose it. Phones come out, people are yelling, "What is wrong with y'all?" But Belle doesn't move. Not a flinch. A teacher, Mr. Patel, pushes through. He's the quiet guy who taught Belle physics, always had a soft spot for her. He kneels, checks her pulse, and his voice shakes. She's not responsive. Someone call 911. Now. Across town, Camille Carter's phone won't stop ringing. She's in her small law office above a bookstore in East Baltimore. Nothing fancy, just a desk, some files, and a life she's pieced together for her and Belle. Camille hasn't stepped foot in a courtroom in years. Not since Afghanistan. Not since she left that part of her life behind. But her gut's screaming this isn't just a missed call. She picks up, and the voice on the other end is tight. "Miss Carter, your daughter's at Mercy General. It's bad." The office door slams behind her as she bolts. At the hospital, Camille doesn't break when she sees Belle in the ICU. She doesn't flinch when the nurse whispers, "Closed head trauma. Possible brain swelling. She's in a coma for now." She just nods, her eyes locked on her daughter's pale face, the swollen eye. The machine's beeping like a cruel metronome. A cop's posted outside the room. Camille walks up, her voice calm but sharp. "Were you one of them?" The officer stutters. "I'm just on watch. I didn't ask what you're doing now." Camille says, slow and deliberate, "I asked if you touched my child." The cop looks away. Camille doesn't push, but something inside her snaps, a part of her she's kept buried for 8 years. That night she's back home, pulling a dusty duffel bag from her closet. Inside, her old flight suit still smells like desert sand and jet fuel. She traces the patches, one with an eagle clutching arrows, another with her call sign. Ghost. Not many in Baltimore know Camille was a fighter pilot. Even fewer know the classified missions she ran for the Pentagon. She was a tactician, a leader, someone who thrived under pressure. And now her daughter's in a coma because 2 cops thought a black teen looked suspicious near her school. Big mistake. The next morning, Camille strides into the precinct like she owns it. Her heels hit the linoleum like gunshots. The desk officer tries to stop her. "Mom, this area's restricted." "Call your captain," she says, voice like steel. "Tell him Camille Carter's here. He'll know the name." 5 minutes later, Captain Drew Hastings comes down. Jaw tight, face pale. "Didn't think I'd see you again, Camille." "You shouldn't have to," she snaps. "But your officers put my kid in the ICU yesterday." He swallows hard. "If this is a legal matter, I'm not here as a lawyer. I'm here as a mother. And this isn't legal yet. But it will be if I don't get answers." Hastings shifts. "We're still reviewing body cam footage." "I've already seen it." She cuts in. His eyes widen, but she doesn't explain how. "This doesn't need to get messy, Drew." He tries. "Too late," she says, her voice ice. "You've got 48 hours. I want names, histories, complaints, every officer who touched my daughter. I want to know why she was stopped. And if you don't give me what I need," she leans in just a fraction, "I'll show you what a woman with clearance, a war record, and nothing to lose can do." That night, Camille drives to a rundown warehouse. Most would think it's abandoned, but inside it's a hub of activity. A voice greets her, "Carter." "No way. You're out." "Not anymore," she says. It's Marcus Hale, ex-military intelligence, now a private contractor. She hands him a file. "I need everything on these badge numbers." Quietly, he skims it, whistles. "This guy's been suspended twice. This one was in a shooting last year. Internal affairs swept it under the rug." "Dig deeper," she says. He smirks. "You taking him to court?" "No," she says, her eyes hard. "I'm taking them apart." By morning, the precinct's buzzing. Camille's calm on the outside, but behind the scenes, she's building a digital arsenal. Misconduct reports, racial profiling stats, whistleblower accounts no one bothered with before. And she's not slowing down, because somewhere under those hospital sheets is her little girl, fighting to breathe. Until Belle opens her eyes. Camille's her voice, her shield, her vengeance. And Baltimore's about to feel it. It's early morning, and Camille's standing at her kitchen sink, staring out the window as the sun creeps through the blinds. Her coffee's been cold for hours. She hasn't slept, hasn't eaten, just running on pure grit and rage. On the counter sits a manila folder, stuffed with papers Marcus Hale pulled from the police department's internal systems overnight. It's ugly. Officer Brent Talbot, Officer Raymond Kenny. Their names are burned into her brain now. Multiple complaints, excessive force, racial profiling, harassment, all swept under the rug with barely a wrist slap. And these are the guys who put her daughter in a coma. Camille's hands shake as she holds the papers, not from fear, but from holding herself back. She's faced enemy fire, sat in briefings with 3-star generals, flown missions most people can't even imagine. But this quiet corruption in her own city feels more dangerous than anything she's ever faced. She grabs her phone and dials. Agent Dana Mallister. The voice answers. It's Camille. I need to see you. The Department of Justice field office is tucked behind an old post office in South Baltimore. Easy to miss unless you know where to look. Camille does. Inside Ringer's system, Dana's buried in paperwork, but her eyes light up when she sees Camille. Part warmth, part dread. Tell me this isn't about what I think it is. Camille drops the folder on her desk. It's worse. Dana flips through the pages, her face tightening. Jesus. Talbot's still on the street. I flagged him 5 years ago. And you buried it. Camille says. I buried nothing. Dana snaps. My report got kicked back by the DA. Not enough evidence, they said. You know how it works. Then I need to play it better. Camille replies. Dana leans back, exhaling. You're playing with fire. I'm fine with fire. Camille says, her voice low. Dana hesitates. If I help you off the record, it could end our careers. You owe me. Camille says quietly. Dana's eyes flicker with guilt. That's low. So was beating my kid into a coma. Camille shoots back. At the hospital, Camille watches the monitors beep around bell, their cold rhythm a reminder of what's at stake. The nurses come and go, and Dr. Lehner's updates are all the same. No change. Stable. Stable's not enough. Camille needs a break in the case, a crack in the system. Then it happens. A young nurse, Janessa, pulls her aside, eyes darting nervously down the hall. I shouldn't be saying this, but I was at the ER when they brought Belle in. The cops, they weren't treating her like a victim. They were laughing. One said, she's lucky we didn't finish the job. Camille's hand clenches. You'll testify. A Janessa shakes her head. I can't. My job's on the line just talking to you. Camille hands her a card. Call this number. Use my name. Say you're a whistleblower under Title VII. You'll be safe. I'll make sure of it. That night, Camille heads to the Brass Lantern, a bar that's a front for her old contacts. She sits in a back booth, waiting. A stocky guy in a faded army jacket slides in. Otis Walker, ex-military, now a security consultant for problems too big for the cops. You're back in it? He says, no greeting. Never really left. Camille replies. He smirks. What do you need? A plan, she says. I'm taking down the whole department. Otis laughs, then stops when he sees her face. You serious? Dead serious. He leans in. You don't just need proof. You need a war chest, public support, leverage. I've got connections, she says. Names, documents. But I need something they can't spin. Then we go public. Camille says. Otis chuckles. There's the ghost I remember. The next morning, Camille uploads a video to a private server. No makeup, no logo, just her in front of a black backdrop. My name's Camille Carter, she says into the camera. I'm a former combat pilot, a veteran of 3 classified ops, and a mother. A week ago, 2 Baltimore cops assaulted my daughter, Belle, outside her school. She's in a coma. She holds up a photo, Belle's 8th grade graduation. She's 16, plays cello, volunteers at the food bank, wanted to be a doctor. Her voice cracks. And now, because 2 men saw her as a threat, I might never hear her voice again. I'm not here for sympathy. I'm here for justice, and I won't stop until it's done. Otis sends the video out. 10 hours later, it's at 1 million views. By morning, the country knows Camille Carter's name and what the Baltimore PD did to her daughter. The city's not quiet anymore. Camille's face is everywhere. News tickers, social media, talk shows. She's not just a mother. She's a storm, and the system's about to learn what that means. Baltimore's buzzing. Camille's face is plastered across every screen. CNN, social media, even local newsstands. Her videos lit a fire, and the whole country's watching. Inside the police department's HQ, Captain Raymond Kenny's pacing like a caged animal, sweat soaking his collar. The chief, 2 lawyers, and a PR team are scrambling to spin this mess in a conference room. Out in the lobby, A TV's blaring CNN, and Camille's voice cuts through, a decorated war veteran, a mother now a symbol for accountability in policing. Officer Brent Talbot leans against the wall, arms crossed. "This is spiraling," he mutters. Kenny glares at him. "You should have kept your mouth shut that night." Talbot's jaw clenches. "You should have stopped me." They both know it. They're exposed. Across town, Camille is at a coffee shop, tucked in a quiet corner with Dana Mallister and Otis Walker. The place is loud, but their table's a fortress of focus. Camille's flipping through a thick file Otis put together. Photos, case summaries, news clippings. Every hush money settlement, every buried complaint. Talbot and Kenny's names keep popping up like roaches. Otis says. Dana nods, grim. They're protected. There's a whole network. Judge's Day's internal affairs. Then we expose it all, Camille says, not blinking. Dana hesitates. "That's dangerous, Camille." "I'm not scared of danger," she fires back. Otis slides a flash drive across the table. "This'll make it worse." It's unreleased body cam footage leaked by an inside source Otis called in. Camille plays it. The video's shaky but clear. Belle outside her school, books in hand, varsity jacket on. Talbot's voice crackles. She's resisting. She's not. She's backing away, hands up. Then the baton swings. Belle screams, the camera jolts, and there's a sickening thud as her head hits the pavement. Camille's hands shake. Dana looks away. Otis stays silent. "Leak it," Camille whispers. Dana starts to protest. "Camille, I said leak it," she snaps. 30 minutes later, the footage is everywhere. For Justice for Belle trends nationwide. Protesters flood the streets outside the precinct. Reporters camp at Camille's doorstep. Civil rights lawyers offer pro bono help. But Camille's not here for the spotlight. She wants the system gutted. That night, the mayor calls an emergency city council meeting, promising an independent review. Camille's heard that song before. Stall, delay, deflect. So she crashes the press conference, Otis at her side, carrying a folder marked confidential. She steps to the podium. "My name's Camille Carter. I appreciate the mayor's sudden interest in justice, but let's be clear. My daughter's not a political inconvenience." She holds up the folder. This has evidence that these officers weren't just protected, they were encouraged. Emails, memos, NDAs from silenced victims. Unless this department acts, full terminations, arrests, federal investigation. I'm releasing every page to the public. The room explodes. The mayor's face goes white. The police chief stammers. Camille steps back and whispers to Otis, "Get ready. They won't go down easy." That night, someone breaks into Camille's house. They don't get far. Steel bar on the door, motion sensors, cameras. Camille's in the shadows, Glock in hand, watching a masked figure stumble into her foyer. Otis tackles him. They rip off the mask. It's Talbot. Blood drips from his lip, eyes wild. "You broke into a federal officer's home," Otis growls. "You think this scares me?" Talbot spits. "You're nothing without a badge." Camille kneels beside him. "I don't need a badge to take you down. Just the truth." She nods to Otis. "Call Dana. Make it official." By morning, Talbot's in custody. The arrest video leaks. Camille's back at it, standing on the courthouse steps for another press conference. Beside her, a small white stool holds Belle's empty shoes. "My daughter's still unconscious," she says. But she's not voiceless. Every person sharing our story, every protester, every tweet, you're her chorus. She stares into the cameras. "Don't let them rewrite this. We're not done." The crowd roars, but Camille doesn't smile. She walks away, fire in her veins. The corruption's deeper than she thought, and the department's not folding yet. She's ready to burn it all down. The federal courtroom's packed, the air thick with tension. Camille steps in, navy pantsuit sharp, hair pulled tight, face unreadable. Reporters scribble in the back, activists fill the seats, and off-duty cops glare from the sidelines. Dana Mallister's at the plaintiff's table, papers stacked, eyes scanning the room. Camille sits beside her, nodding once. "You ready?" Dana whispers. "Born for it," Camille replies. The bailiff calls order, and Judge Celeste Harmon takes the bench, stern, "No nonsense," with a civil rights history that gives Camille a sliver of hope. Across the aisle, Captain Raymond Kenny and Officer Brent Talbot sit with their lawyer, Evan Carlisle, who's dripping smugness in his gray suit. Talbot's jaw sports a bruise from his break. In Gone Wrong, he avoids Camille's gaze. Carlisle opens with crocodile tears. "This incident's tragic, but policing isn't perfect. Officers make split-second calls." Dana's on her feet. "Objection, Your Honor. We're here for evidence, not excuses." Sustained. Judge Harmon says sharply, "Stick to facts, Mr. Carlisle." Dana's turn. She stands, voice steady. Your Honor will prove excessive force was used on Belle Carter, a 17-year-old honor student, and that it's part of a systemic pattern protected by the Baltimore PD. She clicks a remote. A screen lights up with slides, other victims' sealed reports, buried footage, all tied to Kenny and Talbot. We have a witness, Dana adds. Officer Harold Rhee, who served under Kenny until last year. He's breaking his NDA to expose what really happens in that department. The room murmurs as Rhee enters, gray at the temples, guilt in his eyes. He looks at Camille, then takes the stand. I was a coward, he says into the mic, no more. He spills it all. Quota systems, green lit force against black kids, racial slurs in briefings. Then he drops a bomb, an email from Kenny, saved on his phone, telling officers to remind troublemakers who's in charge. The courtroom erupts in whispers. Carlisle's objections fizzle. Judge Harmon admits the email into evidence. Good, Camille mutters to Dana. Let the floodgates open. During recess, Camille steps outside for air. Protesters line the courthouse steps holding signs and candles. A young woman approaches, tears streaming. My brother died in lockup. They called it suicide, but he was bruised everywhere. No one listened. Camille takes her hand. I hear you now. Across the street, a dark SUV idles. Inside, Lieutenant Carl Owens, Kenny's fixer, mutters into a phone. She's too loud. The guy next to him asks, handle it. Not yet, Owens says. But make sure she knows we're watching. That night, Camille comes home to a prayed open mailbox. Inside, a manila envelope with no address, a photo of her and Belle at the hospital circled in red. On the back off, or we finish what we started. Camille stares at it, then opens her laptop. She emails Dana, Otis, and Judge Harmon, would go public. All of it. She attaches every sealed document, every email, Rhee's testimony. Then she dials a producer. This is Camille Carter. I want a national interview. No edits. I'll tell everything. She hangs up, sits in the dark by Belle's empty bed, and whispers, I'm not stopping, baby. Not until they fall. The next morning, Baltimore freezes as Camille's interview airs on every major network. In a simple black dress, she sits under studio lights, hands folded. They didn't just hurt my daughter, she says, staring into the camera. They've been hurting us all, quietly, with permission. But I'm done being quiet. She drops unseen body cam clips, audio of officers mocking victims, and a doorbell camera recording from Belle's assault. Talbot's voice sneers, pin her down. Little brat thinks she's above the law. The nation's stunned. Protests erupt again. Camille's inbox floods, support threats, all of it. Then an anonymous source leaks the memos she sent to the media, showing targeted tactics in black neighborhoods, inflated charges, and retaliation protocols flagging Camille and Belle's school. The department's crumbling, but Camille's real plan's just starting. She meets Otis in a Jamaican cafe, no cameras, no ears. Otis, now viral for backing her on TV, slides a USB drive over. Internal Affairs surveillance logs. They've been watching you for months. Photos of her home, the hospital, even one with Rhee before he testified. They knew he was flipping. Camille says, planned to take him out if he talked. Then we move faster, she says, handing Otis a list. Subpoena everyone on this. Assistant chief to desk clerks. If they know something, I want it on record. Otis raises an eyebrow. You're shaking the whole tree. No, Camille says. I'm cutting it down. Meanwhile, Kenny's in a panic. Meeting in a private warehouse with Talbot and others. Camille's out of control. He barks, slamming the table. She's after our pensions, our families. She's not wrong, an older officer mutters. Kenny silences him with a glare. Owens leans in. We need a move, Ray. Something clean. Discredit her. Talbot pipes up. Leak her file, the sealed one, the Dia case. Her name change. Kenny pauses. She changed her name. Owens nods. Years ago, after a case went sideways. Bury that deep, you start over. Until someone digs. Then dig, Kenny says, smirking. That night, Camille gets an email from a burner account. You forgot we know who you are. Attached is a PDF with her old name, Camila Easton, and sealed records from a case where she was a prosecutor. Evidence vanished, a drug conviction was overturned, her reputation tanked. It cost her marriage and forced her to relocate, change her name. Her lowest moment, but she's not hiding it. She calls Dana. We get ahead of this. The next morning, Camille calls a press conference. Cameras roll, the room's packed. Some of you will get documents trying to discredit me, she says. Yes, I changed my name. Yes, I made mistakes. But that doesn't change what they did to my daughter. If exposing the truth means dragging my past into the light, I'll carry that. What I won't carry is silence. The crowd erupts in applause. Even reporters wipe tears. In the back, A woman in a wheelchair watches via video call. It's Belle. Her eyes are open. Back at the warehouse, Kenny throws the remote at the TV. She flipped it on us, he screams. How Owens looks uneasy. She's not afraid to lose. That makes her dangerous? Talbot whispers. What now? Kenny glares at the screen. We'll stop playing defense. He dials a number. Burn the files, erase the tapes, make Camille Carter disappear from the headlines. But down the street, a white van's parked. Inside, Otis listens through a live tap, hitting record. Camille's not done, and neither is Justice. The news drops like a grenade. Federal agents swarm a rundown warehouse on Baltimore's port, lights flashing red and blue across every screen in the country. They're hauling out bags of shredded documents, torched hard drives, and dossiers on activists, journalists, even Camille's legal team. This isn't just a local mess anymore. It's a full-blown national reckoning. Otis's secret recording of Captain Kenny's orders to make Camille disappear sparked this raid, and it's got the whole city on edge. Camille's at home, glued to the TV next to Dana, her hands trembling with barely contained fury. They were tracking journalists. She whispers, voice low but sharp. Dana nods, face grim. Not just tracking, planning to frame them, silence them. Otis' voice crackles through the speakerphone. FBI's tearing through everything. Subpoenas are hitting left and right. Kenny's running scared. Camille's eyes narrow. Let him run. He's got no cover left. Then Otis drops a bombshell. They had someone inside the hospital, messing with Belle's records. Camille's fists clench so tight her knuckles pale. Why? To make it look like a seizure disorder caused the coma. Not their batons, Otis says. They wanted your case dead in the water. Camille's voice cracks, but her resolve is steel. They tried to erase the truth from my daughter's body. She pauses, fire in her eyes. They want a war. I'll bring them hell. That night, Camille storms the University of Maryland Medical Center with 2 federal agents and a medical examiner in tow. An emergency injunction locks down Belle's records before more can be tampered with. The head nurse, visibly shaken, admits, "We've had strange access requests, flagged as internal audits. The examiner's report is brutal. Severe cranial trauma from repeated blunt force. This wasn't an accident. She was beaten hard." Camilla's mind races. They didn't just try this with Belle. They've done it to others. Kids, families, erased like they never mattered. As she pivots, releasing a new statement, not a speech but a battle cry. An open call to every mother, every student, every family the BPD has crushed. Within 24 hours, her inbox is flooded. Over 700 stories. A mom whose autistic son was dragged from school. A grandma whose teen was framed for gun possession. A pastor whose church was raided without cause. Each story is a spark, and Camille's ready to set the whole system ablaze. Across town, Kenny's holed up in a private office in Annapolis, staring at an arrest warrant with his name in bold. Talbot's on the phone, voice shaky. She's got the whole city rallying Ray. It's not just about her kid anymore. It's a movement. Kenny slams his fist down. She's turning grief into a revolution, and we're losing ground. Governor might step in, Talbot mutters. No one's stepping in, Kenny snarls, but a cold voice cuts him off. That's not your call anymore. He spins to see U.S. Marshal Eric Lear, badge gleaming. You're done, Kenny. We've got 3 witnesses, 2 recordings, and an affidavit tying you to evidence suppression and obstruction. Lear plays the warehouse tap. Kenny's voice, clear as day, make Camille Carter disappear from the headlines. Kenny lunges for the phone, but agents pin him, dragging him out as he screams curses into the void. Camille watches the arrest on her laptop, a flicker of a smile crossing her face. She opens a folder packed with victims' stories. We're not done, she says softly. Dana walks in with tea, trying to ease the tension. Camille, you've already changed the game. You could rest. Rest, Camille scoffs. I'm not here to rest. I'm here to rebuild. She opens her laptop and starts typing Baltimore Civil Rights Accountability Coalition founding charter. This isn't just a fight, it's a new foundation. The Baltimore Civic Auditorium is electric. Nearly 1,000 people, activists, victims, reporters, pack the room, their energy like a pulse. Behind Camille, a massive screen displays names and faces of the BPD's victims, Belle's photo at the heart, surrounded by flowers and drawings from supporters across the globe. Camille steps to the mic, eyes locked on her daughter's image. I didn't ask to be a symbol, she says, voice steady but blazing. And I definitely didn't ask to be the department's enemy. The crowd laughs, but she cuts through. But when my daughter was nearly killed for being black and breathing, something broke in me, and something bigger woke up. The applause is deafening. This isn't just about Belle, she says, voice rising. It's every cover-up, every silenced voice, every family told to shut up and take it. But we're done taking it. This system will change, because we're making it. The crowd leaps to their feet, chanting her name. Hours later, in the BPD's boardroom, Interim Commissioner Russell Maynard throws a flyer on the table. Camille Carter for City Council. Justice is just the start. She's running, he growls. We've got officers on leave, a federal audit, and a mob of victims at City Hall. Captain Irene Talbot sneers. Let her play politics. It'll keep her busy. Lieutenant Drew Folsom shakes his head. You're not getting it, Irene. She's not playing. She's winning. Maynard's voice is grim. She's got the people, the feds, the press. What do we have? No one answers. They know they're out of moves. In Belle's hospital room, Camille's braiding her daughter's hair, reading messages from supporters. This one's from a kid in Chicago. I want to be like Belle's mom, fearless, unstoppable. Suddenly, Belle's eyelids flutter. Camille freezes, heart pounding. The monitor beeps faster. Belle, baby, can you hear me? A soft moan escapes. Belle's eyes open, hazy, weak, but alive. Camille sobs, clutching her daughter's hand. Outside, Dana sees the nurses rush in and whispers, she's back. That night, Camille doesn't celebrate, she doubles down. At a press conference, she stands tall, fire in her eyes. I'm calling for the complete dismantling and rebuilding of the Baltimore PD, she declares. Civilian oversight, new leadership, federal accountability. Now, a reporter shouts, some say you're pushing too far. Camille leans into the mic, voice like a blade. Too far. We haven't even started. She walks off, leaving the room stunned. In D.C., Justice Department official Raymond Null reviews Camille's petition. This isn't a moment, it's a movement. He tells his aide, open a formal investigation. Now, days later, Camille gets a DOJ envelope with one line, you were right. We're coming. She looks out at Baltimore, scarred, wary, but finally awake. Murals of her and Belle are popping up across the city, Camille shielding kids from riot gear, Belle with angel wings rising above a shattered badge. The fight's not over, but Camille's not alone anymore. Neither is Belle. Camille sits by her daughter's bed, holding her hand. Belle's voice is faint but clear. Mom, did we win? Camille smiles, tears falling. We made them see us, baby. That's the first victory. The rest? We're just getting started.